What does going on strike means?
Correct.
Why do people go on strike?
Yes.
Do strikes serve any useful purpose?
Yeah.
What means can be used to persuade?
Used. Yeah. Used. Yeah.
To persuade people to call off on a strike.
Strike. Very good.
Many years ago in Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, my brother and I had organized a scheme for the development for the development of a mountain sanitarium at New Era, Elia.
Okay.
We had a couple of tame elephant cows employed in various works, but it was necessary to obtain the assistance of the government. Assistance of the government stables for the transport of heavy machinery, which could not be conveyed in the ordinary native carts.
Correct.
There were accordingly a large number of elephant wagons drawn by the colossal teams, some of which required 4 elephants. It was a wet season upon the mountains. Our settlement was 6,200 feet above the sea, and the zigzag pass from Rambourg at the base of the steep ascent was 15 miles in length. The crest of the pass was 7,000 feet in altitude, from which we descended 800 feet to the Nevada Elia Plains. The elephant wagons, having arrived at Rambourg from Colombo, about 100 miles distant, commenced the heavy uphill journey. The rain was unceasing. The road was soft, and the heavily laden wagons sunk deeply in the ruts. But the elephants were mighty beasts, and laying their weight against the work, they slowly dragged the vehicles up the yielding and narrow way. The abrupt zigzags bothered the long wagons and the still longer teams. The bridges over dangerous chasms entailed the necessity of unloading the heavier carts and caused great delay. Day after day passed away. But although the ascent was slow, the wagons still moved upwards, and the region of everlasting mist at that season was reached. Dense forests clothed mountainsides. The roar of waterfalls resounded in depths of black ravines. Tangled bamboo grass crept upwards from the wet soil into the lower branches of the moss-covered trees and formed a green curtain impenetrable to sight. The thermometer fell daily as the altitude increased.
Means what? Thermometer fell daily means what? It became colder.
The elephants began to sicken. Too fine animals were too ill to work. There was plenty of food, as the bamboo grass was the natural provender, and in the carts was a good supply of paddy. But the elephants' intelligence was acting against them. They had reasoned and became despondent. For 9 or 10 days they had been exposed to the ceaseless wet and cold, dragging their unmanageable wagons up a road that even in dry weather was insufficient to sustain the weight. The wheels sank deep below the metal foundation and became hopelessly embedded. Again and again the wagons had to be emptied of their contents and extra
Very good.
Extra elephants were taken from the other carts and harnessed to the empty wagons, which were by sheer weight of animals dragged from the deep mire. Thus the time had passed, and the elephants had evidently reasoned upon the situation, and had concluded that there was no summit to the mountains, and no end to the steep and horrible ascent. It would be therefore useless to persevere in unavailing efforts.
Try.
They determined under these heartbreaking circumstances. Under these heartbreaking circumstances to strike work, and they did strike. One morning, a couple of the elephant drivers appeared at my house in New and described the situation. They declared that it was absolutely impossible to induce the elephant to work. They had given it up as a bad job. I immediately mounted my horse and rode up to the pass and descended the road upon the other side, timing the distance with my watch. Rather under 2 miles from the summit, I found the road completely blocked with elephants, carts, and wagons. The animals were grazing upon bamboo grass in the thick forest. The rain was drizzling. With a thick mist increased the misery of the scene.
Misery.
Of the scene. I ordered 4 elephants to be harnessed to a cart intended for one animal. This was quickly effected, and the drivers were soon astride the animals' necks and prodded them with their iron hooks. Not an elephant would exert itself to draw the wagon. In vain, the drivers coaxed the elephants, then used every thread in their vocabulary relentlessly prodding the massive beast on their necks and shoulders with the iron points of their hooks. The only response was a kind of marking time of the part of the elephants, which simply moved their legs mechanically up and down and swung their trunks to and fro. But none would pull or exert the slightest. Neither did they move forward a single inch. I never saw such an instance of passing and determined
Obstinacy.
Means
The
case was hopeless.
Yeah, obstinate means stubborn. Ziddi.
An idea struck me.
The case was hopeless, yeah.
I ordered the drivers to detach the 4 elephants from the harness and to ride them unfettered up the pass. Following behind my horse, it appeared to me that the elephants were heartbroken and in despair at the apparently interminable mountain pass. It might be advisable to let them know that the actual truth by showing them that they were hardly 2 miles from the summit, where they would exchange their uphill labor
The uphill labor.
Where this
They would exchange
their uphill labor for a descent into Nevada area. They would then have an extra feed with plenty of jaggery, a coarse brown sugar.
Jaggery means you know, na?
Yeah.
Good.
And be introduced to the companionship of our 2 female elephants.
That's the bonus that they get.
If they passed an agreeable night with the best of food and warm quarters, they would possibly return the following day to their work and with lighter hearts up their shoulders to the wheel instead of leading a dog attitude of despair.
Dogged attitude.
The result of this ruse was perfect. The elephants accompanied me to Nevada and were well fed and cared for. On the following day, we returned to the heavy work, and I myself witnessed their start with the hitherto
Means before.
unyielding wagon. Not only did they exert their full powers and drag the lumbering load straight up the fatiguing hill without the slightest
tiring hill, yeah.
Without the slightest
Hesitation.
Yeah. But the example or some unaccountable communication between them appeared to give general encouragement. I employed the most willing elephants willing elephants as extras to each wagon.
Yeah. You tell extras, you say extras.
Extras.
Yeah.
To each wagon, which they drove to the summit of the pass, and they returned to assist the others, thus completing what had been pronounced by the drivers as utterly impossible. There can be no doubt that the elephants at once perceived the situation and in consequence recovered their lost courage.
Sir Samuel White Baker was an English explorer, administrator, naturalist, big game hunter and writer. As a young man, he managed his family's plantations in Mauritius and later established his own estates in Ceylon. He served as Governor General of the Equatorial Nile Basin, present-day South Sudan and northern Uganda. During this time, he explored the Nile and the interior of Central Africa and discovered Lake Albert. What I want to ask you, see, what did the elephants could not climb at all, yeah, the summit. But he made the elephants understand that the summit is just 2 days away or something. No? How he made the elephants understand that?
They showed them that.
Yeah, how they showed them that it was just 2 days away, no?
Yeah.
An idea struck me.
And they would get extra feed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying now, I ordered the drivers to detach the 4 elephants from the harness and to ride them thus unfettered up the pass, following behind my horse. It appeared to me that the elephants were heartbroken and in despair. The apparently interminable mountain pass. It might be advisable to let them know the actual truth by showing them that they were hardly 2 miles from the summit, where they would exchange the uphill labor for a descent. Okay, then they would have an extra feed with plenty of jaggery and be introduced to the companionship of, if they passed an agreeable night with you know what they did? Now these fellows, these poor things, because it's cold weather and because the oxygen is also less, so they were feeling tired and sick and all, and they didn't know how long they had to go. So what they did was very clever. They removed all their harness and everything and unfettered, means without any, they were free. They let them be free and they freely allowed them to walk up the hill with a horse in front of them to show them the way, and then they came down towards Nevada Indians and they gave them a good feast and all and introduced them to some 2 female elephants, and then they brought them back after a good day and night. They brought them back to the same place which they were yesterday and put the load back on them, and so that they could see where they are going, means they wanted to show them this is not a mountain which you will never finish climbing and where you will never go back. They wanted to show them, okay, the whole plan. They showed them, okay, once you reach there, then you will be able to go down here and have food. So you just have to climb a little bit more with the luggage. So without the luggage, they actually took them there. A good idea, no? Yeah. I didn't understand first, what they did. That's why I asked you. So you understood the whole thing? It's very sad, about the elephants are pulling up and then the wheels are going into the rut and it's not coming out, and so much.
They are removing the elephants and unloading the weight, and
they're trying very hard and they're poking them. The elephants are only in their place, only they're moving the legs. They're not even moving 1 inch because they became sad. These elephants, they're very emotional. I mean, all animals actually, Maybe tigers also, yeah, sometimes. It's very interesting, Very interesting story. Now let's see what the questions are. Your teacher finished this first chapter, Long back you finished. Okay. Why does the narrator need to employ elephant wagon? Yeah, actually I was not listening to the whole thing properly. But I was just listening to your pronunciation and all mainly. I will have to read it again to understand. 1 minute. Okay, answer the questions. Okay, tell me, why did the narrator need to employ the elephant wagon? What was the whole purpose of this elephant wagon and carrying all these goods? He's doing some business?
it was necessary to obtain the assistance of government stables for the transport.
But it was necessary to obtain assistance of the
Government stables
okay.
for the transport of heavy machinery, which could not be conveyed in the ordinary native carts.
1 minute, let me just understand that once again. It was necessary to obtain the assistance of the government stables for the transport of heavy machinery, which could not be conveyed in the ordinary native carts. Okay. There were accordingly a large number of elephant wagons. Okay, so what they're saying, what they're trying to say, I didn't understand. Did you understand what they say?
This line,
Yeah, what they're trying to say, why they needed the elephants? Because they wanted to transport heavy machinery, yeah?
which could not be conveyed in the ordinary native carts.
Correct. But what is the assistance of government stables?
Means government elephants.
Oh, okay, maybe, right. So let's just see what is written here. The narrator needed to employ elephant wagons to pull heavy machinery up steep and winding mountain paths. Correct. To pull the heavy machinery, yeah. Correct. Correct. And what problems do the elephants and the men face as they travel through the mountain pass?
The rain was unceasing, the roads were soft, and the heavily laden wagons sunk deeply in the ruts.
The rains were unceasing, the roads were soft, and the
heavily laden wagons sunk deeply in the ruts. The abrupt zigzags bothered the long wagons and the still longer teams. The bridges over dangerous chasms entailed the necessity of unloading the heavier carts and caused
the abrupt zigzags, no, you're saying? Bothered the long wagons, and they are still long. Still, you said, and they're still longer teams. Yeah. The bridges over dangerous chasms. Dangerous chasm means there's a gap in the
mountains.
Correct. Dangerous chasms entail the necessity of unloading the heavier carts. And cause great delay. So when they come over a bridge, they have to unload the heavy carts, yeah. And then what they do with the things which are there in the cart?
They would keep them, and then they would take some load in the cart and keep there, and they come back and
break it up, yeah, and put it as less equally distributed again. Okay, so twice they will have to go across the chasm instead of once. Correct. Okay, so some of the in this it says some of the problems that the elephants and the men faced as they travelled up the mountains were unceasing rains, so soft and muddy paths, heavily laden wagons which sank in the mud, a zigzag path, so that's not straight, and crossing bridges were over dangerous chasms. So many problems they faced. Plus the elephants also became sad to add to that. So many problems, no, they faced. What was the road beyond a certain point? Why was the road beyond a certain point impassable?
The region of everlasting mist.
Everlasting, yeah?
Everlasting mist at that season was reached. Dense forests clothed the mountain sides. The roar of waterfalls resounded in the depths of black ravines. Tangled bamboo grass crept upwards from the wet soil into the lower branches of the moss-covered trees and formed a green curtain impenetrable to sight.
Okay. Tangled bamboo grass crept upwards from the wet soil into the lower branches of the moss-covered trees and formed a green impenetrable to sight. Green curtain. So what is that means they can't see, so they don't know the way, no? So they might just jump off the ravines or something, no? Off the mountain or something, because they don't know the way ahead. Oh my god, so scary. After a point, the road became impassable because incessant rains had softened the surface of the road, and the wheels of the wagon became embedded in soft wet earth. So what you are saying is that was not the reason that it became impassable. It became impassable because the wheels of the wagons became embedded in the soft wet earth, it seems. Because of the incessant rains, the earth became soft.
Okay, I had only given the markings in the first chapter.
You should show Mr. the teacher's manual. I'm just joking. Okay, fourth. What effect did this have on the elephants? But what you're saying is also right. When it became, you can't see in the distance, then also it makes it impossible. You're right actually. What effect did this have on the elephants? The elephants were despondent and in a state of great despair.
The thermometer fell daily as the altitude.
Pardon me?
The thermometer fell daily as the altitude increased. The elephants began to sicken.
The thermometer fell daily as the altitude increased.
Two fine animals were too ill to work. but the elephant's intelligence was acting against them.
There was plenty
They had
of
reasoned
force.
and had become despondent.
The elephant seemed to believe. The elephant seemed to believe that there was no end to the steep ascent, and that in any case the road was impassable. So they gave up all efforts to pull the wagon. Means they lost hope. They lost hope, and they felt that this is an interminable way. It is not going to. It's a never-ending road, and anyway, we can't. It's impossible. You can't even go through it, and so they thought they are stuck there only forever with no hope. So they gave up all efforts. That is what is written here. So you can combine this and you can write this also. You can do both. In what condition did the narrator find the elephant teams when he went to investigate? Okay, so somebody went to investigate the situation. Okay, in what condition did he find the elephant teams when he went to investigate the situation?
They had lost hope and the wagons were I found the road completely blocked with elephant carts and wagons. The animals were grazing upon bamboo grass in the thick forest. The rain was drizzling and a thick mist increased the misery of the scene.
Yeah. See, they had food, but still they were sad. Usually animals, if they have food, they are fine, no? That is what is surprising. These people are so sentimental. They should be made to watch Hindi movies, I think, and they'll feel happy. I'm just joking. Where we reached?
I ordered 4. No, that's not also. Till scene.
Okay, that's it, yeah? Okay. The narrator initially suggested that no. The narrator found the elephants in a depressed and obstinate mood. Obstinate means ziddi mood. Depressed means very dukhi, They had decided that it was impossible to move ahead and hence refused to do so. That's all. You have to say that the narrator found the elephants in a depressed and obstinate mood and they refused to move ahead. But then you can also add this, whatever you're saying, This is what they want actually. Okay. Where? 1 minute, they're studying English or they're studying something else?
Science.
So, what was the narrator's bright? Okay, what was the narrator's bright idea? I feel this is the most interesting question. What was the narrator's bright idea? How did he think this might help solve the problem?
He made them harness the elephants and made them walk.
Pardon me, the narrator?
Harness
Yeah.
the elephants, untied the elephants and made them walk up
He
the
unharnessed them, no? He removed the harness. Okay,
and made them walk
unfettered.
unfettered
Yeah.
till the summit and gave them feeded them with jaggery and all.
Fed them, yeah.
Fed
them with.
And the other day, next day, he brought them back.
And he also introduced them to 2 female elephants, and they had a good time. And then after one nice rest for one day and one night, then
he brought them again and
very interesting. I like that. Okay. Because sometimes for people also you have to do this, Sometimes people, when your employees, sometimes they are very depressed. And you have to think what to do to make them, more energetic. If you have a project and it has to be completed in time, Sometimes strictness works, sometimes it doesn't work. The narrator initially suggested that 4 elephants be harnessed. The narrator initially suggested that 4 elephants be harnessed to a wagon, usually pulled by one. First he thought, let's make the load light for them, Usually one elephant pulls one wagon, let's make 4 elephants pull one wagon, So maybe they will be okay with that. The plan was not successful, as the elephants simply moved their legs up and down. Elephants simply moved their legs up and down, but made no attempt to pull the wagon. Okay, that was the previous question then. 1 minute, I missed one question.
6th.
Yeah, what did the narrator initially suggest to the elephant drivers, and did it help to improve the situation? That I missed. Okay, now the narrator's bright idea was to unharness 4 of the elephants and have the men ride them through the pass to their destination, so that they will know where the destination is very close, which was downhill. To their destination, which was downhill. He hoped that the elephants would realize that their destination was not far, and that they would get good feed and rest when they reached there. Right. So he actually fed them before that only. He fed them so that they would understand that it was not far, and once they reached there, they would be fed well. Okay. Okay, what was the result of the narrator's ruse? Ruse means plan. Means a very clever plan. It's a plan where you fool somebody a little bit, you know.
The result was perfect. The elephants accompanied the me to New Era.
The elephants accompanied me
to New Era.
Yeah.
And were well fed and cared for.
Okay, good.
On the following day, we returned to the heavy work.
Yeah.
And I myself
witnessed
the start with the hitter.
No, I myself witnessed what?
The start.
Where?
Witnessed
their start, not start. Their start. Yeah.
With the
hitherto, yeah.
Unyielding wagon,
yeah.
Not only did they exert their full powers and drag the lumbering load straight up the
Not only did they exert their full powers
hill
and drag the lumbering load straight up the fatiguing hill without the slightest hesitation, but
their example or some unaccountable communication between them.
Oh, they were also communicating among themselves. They were saying,
hey,
don't worry, this is nothing, let's go and let's have a good time, you know, after that. So they understood, and there was some communication between them, maybe non-verbal communication, maybe with the mind only, like, you know, telepathy, mind to mind. Yeah. Encouragement. I employed the most willing elephants as extras to each wagon, which drew to the summit of the pass, and then returned to assist the others, thus completing what had been pronounced by the drivers is utterly impossible. Means the natives had said that. The natives means I think this is in some other place. It's not England and all. This is in Mauritius or some other place. So the natives of that place, original people of that place, had told him, no, this is impossible and all. But this Englishman, he made this work. The narrator's ruse worked, and the elephants, after a good meal and night's rest, returned to the stranded wagons and resumed work willingly. That's all. They made it very small. That's it. Anything? And okay, all this also will come for the exam?
No.
Read the lines and all will not come. Only this will come, yeah? Okay. You want to go to the next chapter? Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I like. Other Conan Doyle, huh?
We did, I think.
We didn't do Sherlock Holmes. But have you read the whole book of Sherlock Holmes?
No.
You like Sherlock Holmes? No? You don't like this great detective?
I don't know also.
You don't know. I had seen, I'll send you the link on YouTube of, see, there are many Sherlock Holmes. Now the latest Sherlock Holmes movie, I don't like. The actor and all, I don't like. But when I was in school, when I was in the 8th, 9th standard, there was a Sherlock Holmes on TV, which was so great, which was so good. But I don't know whether you will like it. But that actor, he died now. He died also. Recently he died, that actor. But that actor was amazing. I forgot his name. So I can send you the link of one episode of that, Sherlock Holmes is a big fat book with many episodes. Like Karamchand, Karamchand, the Indian detective. That was the Shahid Kapoor's father. His name is what Kapoor? I forgot. He was acting as Karamchand. That was the Indian Sherlock Holmes. But this fellow, is very intelligent, and he detects like that. He understands smallest things and how he reaches the conclusion of who done it. Like someone who did that, and he gets the clues and how he understands that person. And he has got an assistant also, Dr. Watson. Yeah, that's very nice. His character, if you see on TV, how he is acting, then you will like the stories more. And here the entire story is not there. Only a part of the story is there here. So the full story you should read, or you should see it. So I'll send you the link next time. Yeah? You will like Sherlock Holmes. It was written by this guy Conan Doyle, Arthur Conan Doyle. This long back. It is set in 1800 England. In 1800. Now it is 2015. Now it is set 150 years back. Okay, in England. When you see, you will like it. So that time they used to have this cap and scape and this, pipe and all. Yeah, read. It's very interesting.
Start off. Detective and crime investigation stories are one of the most popular categories of fiction. Why do you think such stories are popular? Do you read detective stories? Who is your favorite detective and who created the character? Share with the class.
Tell me, do you read detective stories? Not at all. Which are the detectives you know? I like that. So that's the end of the question and end of the discussion. So let's go to the main thing. That's easy, We can just say we don't like it, that's it. Yeah.
I picked up the stick which our visitor had left behind
And
the
left
night
behind,
before.
yeah. Behind the night before.
It was a fine thick piece of wood. Just under the head was a broad silver band nearly an inch across. The James Mortimer, MRCS, from his friends of the CCH, was engraved upon it with the date 1884.
That is the time that it's taking place. About 150 years back.
Well, Watson, what do you make of our visitors to?
Visitors, yeah.
Said Holmes, who was seated at the breakfast table.
Breakfast table, yeah.
Since we have been so unfortunate as to miss him and have no notion
Of his errand.
let me hear you reconstruct the man by an examination of it. I think, said I'm following as far as I could the methods of my companion.
Means this is Watson is writing this, yeah? Okay.
That Dr. Mortimer is a successful elderly medical man, well esteemed, since those who know him give him the mark of their appreciation. Good, said Holmes. Excellent. I think also that he is probably a country practitioner. Who does a great deal of his visiting on foot. Why so? Because this stick, though originally a very handsome one, has been so long about that I can hardly imagine a town practitioner carrying it. The thick iron ferrule is worn down, so it's evident that he has done a great amount of walking with it. Perfectly sound, said Holmes. And then again there is the friends of the CCH. I should guess that to be the local hunt to whose members he has possibly given some surgical assistance and which has made him a small presentation in return. Really, Watson, you excel yourself, said Holmes, pushing back his chair. He now took the stick from my hand and examined it for a few minutes. Then, with an expression of interest, he carried the cane to the window and looked over it again with a lens. There are certainly a few indications upon the stick which gave us the basis for
upon the stick
which give us the basis for several deductions, said he, returning to his favorite cornet of the city. Yeah. Has anything escaped me? I asked with some self-importance. I trust that there is nothing of consequence which I overlooked. I am afraid, my dear Watson, that most of your conclusions are erroneous. Not that you are entirely wrong. The man is certainly a country practitioner and he walks a good deal. Then I was right to that extent.
Extent.
But that was all. No, my dear Watson, not all, by no means all. I would suggest, for example, that a presentation to a doctor is more likely to come from a hospital than from a hunt. And what when the initials CC are placed before the hospital, The words Charing Cross very naturally suggest themselves. Well, then supporting that Charing CCH that stand for Charing Cross Hospital, what does further inferences may be drawn? Do none suggest themselves? You know my methods. Apply them. I can only think of the obvious conclusion that the man has practiced in town before going to the country. I think that we might venture a little farther than this. On what occasion would it most probably probable that such a presentation
Would it be most
would
probable?
probable that such a presentation would be made? Obviously, at that moment, and Dr. Mortimer withdrew from the service of the hospital in order to start in practice for himself.
Correct.
It certainly seems probable. You will also agree that he could not have been on the staff of the hospital, since a man with a well-established practice in London would not drift into the country. If he was in the hospital and yet not on the staff, what was he then? He could only have been a house surgeon, little more than a senior student. And he left 5 years ago. The date is on the stick. So your
Stick.
stick.
Yeah.
So your grey middle-aged family practitioner vanishes into thin air. My dear Watson. And there emerges a young fellow under 30, amiable, unambitious, absent-minded, and the possessor of a favorite dog. I laughed incredulously as Sherlock Holmes leaned back
into his settee.
As to the latter part, I have no means of checking you, said I, but at least it was not difficult to find out a few particulars about the man's age and professional career. From a medical shelf, I took down the medical directory and turned up the name. I read his record aloud. Mortimer James, MRCS, 1882, Grimpen, Dartmoor, Devon House, surgeon from 1882 to 1884 at Charing Cross Hospital, medical officer for the parishes of Grimpen, Thorsley and Highbury. A country doctor, as you very astutely observed, said Holmes. I think that I am fairly justified in my inferences. As to the adjectives, amiable and ambitious and absent-minded, it is my experience that it is only an amiable man in this world who receives testimonials, only an unambitious man, one who abandons a London career for the country, and only an absent-minded man, one who leaves his stick and not his visiting card after visiting an hour
waiting an hour
in your room. And the dog has been in the habit of carrying the stick behind his master.
The stick behind his master.
I think that I am fairly
being a heavy
stick, the dog has held it tightly by the middle, and the marks of his teeth are very plainly visible.
Yeah.
The dog's jaw is too broad, in my opinion, for a terrier, and not broad enough for a mastiff. It may have been, yes, it is a curly-haired spaniel. He had risen and walked across the room as he spoke. Now he halted by the window. There was such a ring of conviction in his voice that I glanced up in surprise. My dear fellow, how can you possibly be so sure of that?
You know why you're finding this very difficult and it's like work and it's boring? Because you've not seen that movie Sherlock Holmes. Look at the serials.
For this very simple reason that I see the dog himself on our doorstep. And there is the ring of its owner. Don't move, I beg you, Watson. What does Dr. James Mortimer, the man of science, ask of Sherlock Holmes, the specialist in crime? Come in. Our visitor was a very tall, thin man with a long nose and two keen grey eyes, set closely together and sparkling bright from behind. A pair of gold-trimmed glasses. As he entered, his eyes fell upon the stick in Holmes' hand, and he ran towards it with an exclamation of joy. I am so very glad, said he. I was not sure whether I had left it here or in the shipping office.
Yeah.
I would not use that stick for the world. Presentation, I see, said Holmes. Yes, sir, from Charing Cross Hospital. From one or two friends there on the occasion of a marriage. Dear, that's bad, said Holmes, shaking his head. Dr. Mortimer blinked through his glasses in mild astonishment. Why was it bad? Only that you have disarranged our little deductions. Your marriage, you say. Yes, sir, I married and so left the hospital. And with it all hopes of consulting practice. It was necessary to make a home of my own.
Yeah.
Come, we are not so far wrong after all, said Holmes. I presume that it is Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Mr.
No, not Mr. Mr.
Mr. Who I am
Sherlock Holmes, whom I am addressing.
Who I am addressing and not. No, this is my friend Dr. Watson.
Great.
Glad to meet you, sir. I have heard your name mentioned in connection with that of your friend. Sherlock Holmes made a strange visitor.
Strange visitor.
Strange visitor into a chair.
Yeah.
I assume, sir, said he at last.
At last.
At last.
Yeah.
That it was not merely for the purpose of making
our acquaintance.
That you have done me
Yeah.
the honor to call here last night and again today.
Yeah.
No, sir, no, though I am happy to have had the opportunity of doing that as well. I came to you, Mr. Holmes, because I recognize that I am myself an unpractical man, and because I am suddenly confronted with a most serious and extraordinary problem. As a practical man of affairs, it is acknowledged that you stand alone. I think Dr. Mortimer Holmes interrupted. You would do wisely without more ado. You would tell me plainly what the exact nature of the problem is in which you demand my assistance.
Correct. Adapted from The Hound of Baskervilles. I'll bring this, The Hound of Baskervilles, the serial. It is just one episode of a serial, just one episode of 1 hour or so. Now you know what, this Sherlock Holmes now, he has got a consulting room in London, okay, where people come to him when they have a big difficult case, which they can't solve. Some big problem which they can't solve, the last resort is Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock Holmes takes money and he solves the case for them, whatever the problem is. Somebody died or somebody is afraid that somebody is going to get robbed or some very difficult case. So now this guy, Dr. James Mortimer, he had come to visit Sherlock Holmes, but Sherlock Holmes and Watson were away, they were not in the office. They were away somewhere, maybe another case or maybe visiting somebody in the countryside or something like that. So when he had come there, he had just by mistake he had left his walking stick, and then he had gone away. He had waited for an hour and he had gone away. And the next day when Sherlock Holmes came, they saw the stick. So they don't know who came. So from the stick they are trying to find out who came. This is a little game. Sherlock and Holmes and Watson, they play this game. Check from the list, both of them try to outdo each other. They try to show who is more clever. I can make out from the stick who came and all that. So so Watson tried first. He said, okay, now the stick looks like that of a medical doctor, but he is a person who practices in the country, not in the city, because and some other deduction he made, Watson made. Watson was not totally correct. So Sherlock Holmes made his proper deduction, and he told him, this is not an old man, this is not an old doctor, this is a middle-aged man, because here it is written CCH. CCH means most probably it's a hospital's name, that has presented this to him. It's most probably Charing Cross Hospital, and they must have given it to him when he was leaving the hospital, And he said that this is not he is not a proper senior doctor or anything. How did he make that out? He's only a house surgeon or something, because I think to senior staff they would have given something else, when they leave. This is very junior staff. Friends of CC, I should guess that the local some surgical assistant. Okay, really what's in there? Okay, I took the stick from that, and there's certainly indication the stick was given for several deductions and the favor. Has anything escaped me? I'm afraid what's this? Presentation. Come from a hospital, okay? PCH it is an obvious conclusion. On what occasion would it be when he left the hospital? It could be that he could not have been on the stress since a man with a well-established practice in London. The reason why it can't be a very high position in the hospital. He was just an intern or something. Was because if he was a well-established doctor, then he would not have left the hospital. So he must be just a house surgeon. House surgeon is somebody who is doing internships. Junior doctor. The junior doctor is not very old, and on the date is mentioned here. Date is mentioned when it was presented to him. So that is the date when he left the hospital. After 5 years or something. So for everything he has got a reason. Then he's saying he's an absent-minded fellow. Otherwise he would not have left the stick here. By
Visiting letter.
Huh?
He would
I would have left the visiting card, not this stick. Then he said probably he has a dog. He has a dog because we can see bite marks on the stick in the middle. And he's also telling him what kind of dog it is. He's told him that the teeth marks on this are not too wide and not too small. So it can't be a terrier, it can't be this. It must be a hairy cocker spaniel. And then only while looking out of the window, he saw that a man standing there, similar looking man that he described, standing there with a cocker spaniel. He said, Watson, that fellow is coming up. So they knocked on the door or rang the bell or something. And then he said, come in, and this person came, and then they saw that it was a thin, tall young man. And so he started explaining to him. And the doctor was very happy, I found my stick. So he said, it was at the time of my marriage that they gave it to me. Oh, then Sherlock Holmes said, I made a mistake, No, but he said that that's the time that I left for the country because I got married and I wanted to set up in a home. Sherlock Holmes also said, this man is not ambitious. So the ambitious man will not go and settle in the village. Ambitious means somebody wants to be rich and powerful and famous and all that. He's just happy with life. So then Sherlock Holmes and Watson especially asked him, okay, now come to the point, tell us exactly why you have come. They want to know what the case is. So then after that, the remaining stories that he explains to them what the problem is. And Sherlock Holmes visits the place and then he finds it very exciting actually, to see the episode. It's very exciting. So that's how he makes his deductions and all that. Okay. Let's see the questions. Just 5 minutes more, and then your sisters will come. So I came at 3:45, I think. Okay. Describe the walking stick that was left behind by Dr. James Mortimer. This is number 4.
It was a fine thick piece of wood. Just under the head was a
Just
under the head was a band nearly an inch across. To James MRCS from his friends of the CCH was engraved upon it with the date 1884.
Correct. Here it says the walking stick was a thick piece of wood with a silver band almost an inch wide just below the head of the stick. The words to James Mortimer, MRCS, from his friends of the CCH was engraved on the head. Okay, that's all. What's the second question?
What guesses?
Pardon?
What guesses does Watson make about Dr. Mortimer?
Yeah.
After examining his walking stick.
Stick. Yeah. Yeah.
I think, said I, following as far as I could the methods of my companion.
No, I didn't understand. What? Tell me that again.
Answer is not marked.
Okay. Okay. After examining the stick, Dr. Watson guessed that its owner was an elderly medical man with a practice in the countryside. That's all. He was correct when he said practice in the countryside, but he was wrong when he said elderly. He was not a young man. Third question.
Why does he think Dr. Mortimer was probably a country practitioner?
Probably
a country practitioner.
Yeah.
Because this stick,
Yeah.
though originally a very handsome one, has been so knocked about that I can hardly imagine a town practitioner carrying it. The thick iron ferrule is worn down. The thick iron ferrule is worn down.
Yeah.
So it is evident that he has done a great amount of walking with it.
Correct. Okay, here it says that from the state, what you said was Dr. Watson felt that since it's so the stick looks so used, that a person in the city will not carry such a used stick. So it has to be a country practitioner. Plus, he has also been walking around a lot. I mean, I think in the city the doctors don't have to walk around so much. Maybe they have a cab or something. Yeah. So here it says, from the state of the walking stick, Dr. Watson guessed that Dr. Mortimer made most of his wills on foot, which indicated that he had a country practice rather than one in the city. Yeah. Here they're saying that from the stick you can make out that he walked a lot. So that is probably in the country. In the city, the stick would not have been so worn out. Yeah, that's all. What is the fourth question?
After examining the walking stick.
After examining stick. Yeah.
The walking stick.
Yeah.
What does Sherlock Holmes deduce?
What
does
Sherlock Holmes deduce?
Now
you told me about Watson's deduction. Now you have to tell me about Sherlock Holmes' deductions.
What CCH stood for?
Stood. Yeah.
Charing Cross Hospital.
Yeah.
What was Dr. Mortimer's age? He was a young man.
Yeah.
What was Dr. Mortimer's nature? Unambitious.
Yeah.
Unambitious.
An absent-minded and friendly person. Why friendly? Because it seems only friendly people, the friends would give the stick when they left. Others they would not. So here they put all three together properly. They said Sherlock Holmes deduces that CCH, standing for Charing Cross Hospital, that Dr. Mortimer is a young man not more than 30 years of age, and a friendly, that means amiable is a friendly person, but unambitious and absent-minded. So all three are put together. I think this is good now. This manual is good. Fifth question.
How does Holmes explain his various deductions?
Explain his
various deductions.
Correct. How did Holmes explain? It's quite a long one.
Yeah, it's not working. I'm not.
You don't mark it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are from 5-6 points, I think. First point is that Sherlock Holmes believes that the doctor is most likely to get a present from a hospital, not from the hunt as Watson said. Therefore, CCH must mean a hospital. So if it's CC, then it is H is a hospital and CC is Charing Cross, most probably. Okay, immediately suggests the name of a famous London hospital. The next deduction is that a senior doctor with an established practice in London would not move to the countryside. Hence, Dr. Mortimer might not have been wanted. Dr. Mortimer is likely to be a young man who took up the country practice on completing his house surgeonship. House surgeonship is internship. After you do your medical degree, you do 1 year, 2 years of internship in India. But abroad, I think you do more than 2 years of internship. You must be doing 3-4 years of internship. In India, you just do 1 year. Okay, now the fourth point. Dr. Mortimer's friendly nature is obvious from the fact that his colleagues gave him a handsome present. Then the fifth point. He is unambitious because he preferred a country practice to the one in the city. And the sixth point, he is absent-minded because he forgot his walking stick at Holmes's rooms, in Holmes's consulting rooms or wherever. So 6 deductions he made, I think, based on facts. What is the sixth question?
Which of Holmes' deductions turned out to be incorrect? He has left his hospital at the time the stick was gifted.
Yeah, he left his hospital at the time the stick was gifted. That is true. He left his hospital at the time the stick was gifted.
No, that was wrong.
That was true. He left his hospital.
No, when the marriage was
but because of the marriage he left the hospital. Not because he wanted to start a practice in the countryside. It was partly true. Sherlock Holmes had guessed that the walking stick was presented to Dr. Mortimer on leaving Charing Cross. The reason that it was gifted, it was not gifted because he was leaving. It was gifted because he was getting married. But at that time he left also because he got married. So it was not totally wrong to take up a country practice. This proved incorrect. It was given to him on the occasion of his marriage. Correct. That's it. We did it. And I'll get you that. The Hound of Baskerville. It's very interesting. I'll just give you the link on YouTube. And I'll send it to your mommy, and then you can see it. It'll take 1 hour. So I can send it to you before only. On one of these days I can send it, so you can see before only. You like it, I feel, because when they're showing that, this thing, the subtitling is also there in English, so you can easily understand what they're saying also. Okay.
I read books, Secret Seven.
Oh, I love Secret Seven, but that's not called a detective book. That is called Enid Blyton's books.
Yeah.
I used to love Five Findouters. Adventure. 5 Findouters is like Secret Seven. Secret is 7 people. 5 Findouters is 5 people. Oh my God, you must read 5.
The Famous Five.
Famous 5 is a third group, and Adventurous 4 is a fourth group. All Enid Blyton. Enid Blyton is a lady who, she has written hundreds of books, and she lived 100 years back. And she wrote all these books for children, and so wonderful. I can't tell
I
you.
read Secret Seven and
You
Famous
like?
Five.
You like Secret Seven and Famous 5? Okay. My favorite was 5 Findouters, and I read all of them. You must read them. There's one guy called Patty. They just call him Patty. His name is Frederick Algernon or something. He puts disguises on, and he's fantastic. And he fools the grown-ups, means he's actually a child, means he's a big child, like he's a teenager. And he goes into the world of grown-ups also, and he puts a disguise and thinks that he is that guy, So as a child, it's very interesting. The child is able to solve those mysteries. And Goon is the local village policeman. Very, very interesting. I'll get you that 5 Findouters book if I get it. I must be having at least one at home. I'll check it. Oh, that's very interesting. 5 Findouters. But you don't have time to read now all that.
I've read in vacations.
But when is your vacation now?
March.
It's finished now.
Yeah.
The next vacation.
Diwali and Christmas.
Diwali is when?
November.
Okay, so we have July, August, September, October. 4-5 months left. You poor thing. Poor thing. See, in the 7th standard, no? In the 7th standard, we had so much time. My God, we were enjoying life. Evening, we used to go and play cricket. At 5 o'clock, we have to go out and play cricket with friends. Plus, we come back. And up to 5 o'clock also, we're just enjoying life. Means we come back home at 1:30 from school. 1:30 to 5, we are sleeping or enjoying life. At 5 o'clock, we go out and play. Because in those times, so much work was not there. No? These classes are not we didn't have. We never had tuitions. Only in the 10th standard for one maths tuition I went, that's all. And still I got a state rank, happy. Good, no? And today I went to meet one of my friends whom I'm meeting after 30 years, who was in school with me, Shani. She's earning very well, and I have a dabba here. So now you can call the this thing. Yeah. So I'll send you that Hound of Baskervilles,
Huh?
I'll send you that Hound of Baskervilles, that serial. You must find a way to make more time and enjoy life, because you're only in the 7th standard. Once 10th, 11th, 12th, you have to study hard. 10th and 12th are not.
In 8th it will be easy.
Huh?
In 8th it will be easy.
Pardon?
In 8th it will be easy.
Why? Why is it opposite? Why is it ulta?
Don't know.
8th why is it easy and 7th why is it difficult? Who told you all this?
The 8th standard people.
Yeah?
They came and they play out.
And 9th standard?
Yeah, no.
Difficult, na? Okay. But you are doing very well. You are picking up very well, and the teacher's manual is very helpful because the answers are given very clearly, properly. So whatever the teacher has marked, you can just compare and combine. It's very good to give proper answers. So you are satisfied with the answers, Because I was not very satisfied with the answers being given. I'm not sure whether it's the right or what. And I read the teacher's manual, okay, this is right. It was written by the same person who wrote the textbook. Chakravarti lady. Chakravarti is a guy or a girl? Girl, no?
Yeah.
Girl, how you know it's a girl?
Name is that only, like that only.
But Chakravarti is a surname. Chakravarti is a surname. Then we don't know. We'll have to see one minute. On that this thing is going to be given. On this thing. Yeah, that book will be given about the author. Acknowledgements and anything about the author is given. What do you have? An interactive CD-ROM. Each reader is accompanied by a CD-ROM you have with this? Yeah? Then what do you say? The readers contain a wide selection of prose and poetry and chosen. One of the objectives of the series is to expose the students to writings from different genre and cultures and inculcate in them a love for and the habit of reading. Each reading text is accompanied by a variety of exercises to help students develop and hone the various language learning skills, including reading, comprehension, listening, speaking, writing, and grammar practice. Okay. The series also aims in cultivating the learner's vocabulary and language skills so as to use the English language effectively in productive tasks. Each reader is accompanied by an interactive CD-ROM which contains numerous activities to improve reading and pronunciation skills with audio components, audio recording facility, with record and playback for speaking and pronunciation drills. This is very good for your sisters. Symbols and audio facility with a quick link to Cambridge dictionaries online. This is too much. Wait a minute. I think I saw. So your school did not give you the CD? That's cheating. And how much is this for? Huh? How much is the textbook for?
Just for the back. 165.
How much?
165.
You have 165, then you said 60. You said 60, yeah. Okay, what I'm saying now, see, I saw online on Amazon that the 7 reader, the reader was available with the CD-ROM. I'll just give the link to your mummy. If she wants, are you interested in the CD-ROM? I think it's good, no? Interactive. Interactive means you will be, let's see now what is then, take maximum, say now you're calling me for tuitions. Then if you really want to learn well, right? Then why don't you take advantage of what Chakravarti provides or what Cambridge provides? You know, you can just go through that also. Then they will be giving you the correct pronunciation better than mine, and then you will have to repeat and say it like that only. That's good, na? That is half my work will be done. Good it is, and especially for your sisters. I'll tell you, mommy. I'll give the link on Amazon. You know, she can buy with debit card, or when they deliver she can pay, whatever. You know, I'll tell you, mommy. See, they are not giving the book only properly. Because they're afraid maybe that you'll complain that Snehalata is not saying what is written in the CD-ROM. She's speaking differently with different pronunciation.
They don't let us the book keep open. Otherwise, we will tell that you have not reached this.
Correct.
We have to keep the book closed.
Because it's complicated. Because she wants you to say it by heart, like, no, the answer by heart she wants.
No, if she misses anything, then we'll tell
her.
her.
This is what, yeah. This is this poor teacher. I feel bad for her. She's suffering so much. We all also suffering, but her condition is also bad. And she's so scared of you people that you will complain. Teachers should not be scared of students now. The teacher should be that good, you know. The teacher should not be worried about it. The teacher should make the class a lot of fun. Now this thing was. What do you do? What do you have to? You know that it's time for them to come, yeah?
Right.
Yeah. I'll make a list what your brother needs now. Next time when I come, I'll just make a list of that. This is Bhakti and this is Bhavya. See, I guessed correctly. Okay, this is common. I have to give the link for Snowflake 7 with CD, interactive CD. This give a link on Amazon. Okay. So that your brother can buy the. There is a CD that comes with the textbook Snowflakes even for you. In that CD, no, they will give you exercises where they will read out the book.
Yes,
and
English CD.
Yeah.
Miss shows us.
But you don't have the CD.
No, Miss only has. She only.
But she plays it. Does she play it?
Yes. In the class, there is a smart board, no?
But in
Smart
other
class.
subjects like SS and GK, we have CD also.
And
Okay, but in English also you have, no?
Yes. Yes.
But
and
this
grammar,
has
grammar.
that.
But you also need that, no? It's better if you also have it, no? So you can
Yes.
play it at home and it's interactive.
But there
Means,
is no that.
that your parents can buy that CD
Yes.
player. That's not a big problem. But what I'm saying now that CD player is good, na? Means they will say something and then you have to repeat and all.
We will write the exercises and that
Yeah.
they will give us.
Yeah, and then you have to say and it will be recorded and then they will say and they will check whether your pronunciation is correct and all. All that is also there in that. Interactive it is. Means you will say something and then they will say
But
something.
there are some exercises also.
Yeah,
Mostly that is only there.
correct.
In our English CD, no,
Hmm.
we have questions and we have to type with the that keyboard and
Mouse.
we have to write.
But they will also say something and you have to say it back correctly, no? And how they speak is also good, na? In the CD, how the speaking is good.
Yes.
They're speaking like English people or like Indians,
They speak like Indian.
like Indians only,
In
na?
ours.
Huh?
In our series.
They're speaking like Indians only, na? But they're speaking properly and correctly, no?
Yes.
So you don't feel the need to have the CD. I feel it's good if you have the CD at home only, na?
Yes.
So any
But
exercise.
in this book it is not there. In the grammar also and in the textbook also. They give us CD here. But it is not there.
It's not for the grammar. For Snowflakes, you get the CD.
Yes.
Not for the grammar. Only for Snowflakes. You
Here
get.
it is not there.
But they did not give you the CD. Actually, it's available. Okay, one is for Manan. I'll give the link for the CD. Once Manan gets, then maybe you will also get. That is one thing. Then second is Hound of Baskervilles. That Sherlock Holmes story. I want to send him the link. Hound of Baskervilles. Sherlock Holmes on YouTube. Okay. Then third thing that he needs is I want to see if I have at home that book on enid-blyton. Secret 7. No. 5 final days. Okay. Next is I want to ask. See, like Hansel and Gretel, you want more of those books?
Yes.
Then you can go to Oxford bookstore and buy. There are so many of those
We
books.
have many books here. Story books we read.
No, that fairy tales.
Fairy
Yeah,
tales
fairy-
also we have.
Like Hansel and Gretel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can show you the books cupboard. I like reading books.
Yeah, very good. Please show me one
The
fairy
Tin
tale.
Little Soldier.
Pardon? Tin Soldier.
The model.
But they are not fairy tales. Not moral stories. Hansel and Gretel and all are fairy tales, which are written hundreds of years back. Nice picture. If you go to Oxford bookstore, na, same
I have
time.
only one fairy tale.
Ah,
Little.
that is not a fairy tale. That is just a story.
That's a fairy
In the story books, the name is model stories, but in that Hansel and Gretel, then that stories are there.
Okay, but separate book is there. Hansel and Gretel with nice pictures and all.
Pictures are there in every book,
But so many
separate-
pictures.
Separate book is
separate.
Separate book is not there,
There
na?
are many stories in one book,
Okay, but they're just written there like that, no? Means the pictures and all.
and pictures are also there. This
Okay.
business.
But if you want to get separate books, na, it's called the Oxford bookstore at Churchgate. You can there I bought it from. There you will get, and there you can just sit and read also. You don't have to buy anything. And a whole children's section is there, so beautiful. Whole day you can go in the morning, read, and come back in the evening.
can bring book also.
You can't bring it here, you can read it there itself. If you want, you can pay and buy the book if you really like. And if you don't want to buy, if you just want to read that also, you can do. Good, na? I'll tell you mommy about that. Whole day you can read and just one book you can buy. Okay, so that's that. And this is Oxford bookstore actually. There's Oxford bookstore. Yeah. They'll give you this membership card. You know where Churchgate is? Churchgate?
Yes.
From Churchgate you have to just walk 10 minutes. It's near KC College.
In Vasai only.
Huh? Pardon? No,
In
it's not
Vasai.
in Vasai, in Churchgate. No? From Vasai you have to go take a train.
Oh.
It will take 1 hour. 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. Suppose we leave at 7 in the morning, then you'll reach by 9 o'clock or 8:30. 9 o'clock in the morning. If you leave by 9 o'clock in the morning, then you'll reach at 11 o'clock in the morning. And there are only cafeterias that you can eat and everything there. Okay, fine. So we've done that. And okay, so what shall we do today?
Conversation.
Conversation. Okay. Which conversation you want? Which one?
No, we will do this story.
Oh, this conversation you want?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking which one you're talking about. This also I brought from Oxford bookstore. Choose which one you want.
Hotel reservation.
Yeah. Is a school 17?
Which one? Hotel reservation. Is it bike? Is it bike hotel in Goa? Okay, let's just pretend it's bike hotel in Goa. Yeah. So there's Mr. Roy and there's a receptionist. So who's Mr. Roy?
I. No, I am the receptionist.
Okay, there's a student also in between.
Huh? I am the receptionist.
You're the receptionist. Okay,
I'm
good.
Mr. Roy.
You're Mr. Roy and I'm the student.
Okay.
Okay. So who's Mr. Roy? You, na? Yeah, Mr. Roy, please talk.
Good morning, madam. I am Yash Roy from Mother Public School.
Good.
Good morning, sir.
We are on a school trip. We had booked rooms in your hotel for our students.
Let me check, sir.
Please hurry up, madam. The students are tired after a long journey.
I understand. I will give you the required information. Meanwhile, please be comfortable at our lobby here.
Means
There.
lobby means
Lobby
The
means
sofas.
yeah, sofas and all are there, no? In the main room of the hotel, where the receptionist is sitting. There in front of the receptionist is a main lobby, a big room with the sofas and all. You know, na? Bike didn't have that. Lobby was
Yes,
not there.
yes,
It
there
has.
was there.
Okay.
There were foreign people.
Oh.
can we make our students sit there?
Hmm.
Of course. Yes.
The student,
No, Mr. Roy.
go and sit over there. Don't make noise and behave yourself.
I need to go to the washroom, sir. Means I want to go to the toilet.
Madam.
No.
please
Mr. Roy has to say.
Madam, please guide us the way to the washroom.
He doesn't know.
It is the left of the lobby.
Did you hear that? Now you can go and use the washroom.
Okay.
When did you make the booking, sir?
2 days ago we had booked 8 rooms.
10 days.
10 days ago.
Yes, sir, your rooms are booked from the name of Mother Public School.
Can we move to the rooms?
Just a while. The room service is cleaning the rooms. Your check-in time is at 12 o'clock noon.
Means what?
Check.
Check-in time means your one day consists of 12 to 12. Means today at 12 o'clock it will start, tomorrow at 12 o'clock it will end. That one day you have to pay for. If you leave before, if you come before 9 o'clock, then it will be considered as one more day. You know? Understood, no? Means see, suppose I check in today into your hotel. Okay, who's Mr. Roy? You're the receptionist, no? So you have the hotel. Okay, say suppose you're the receptionist of Bike Hotel, yeah? I'm checking into the hotel. So I came in at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay? 9 o'clock in the morning, so they'll say, okay, your room timing actually starts from 12 o'clock. So you just wait for some time. Otherwise it will be considered as 2 days.
Yes.
It will be considered as 2 days. So 9 o'clock I come, but I just wait for 9 till 10 o'clock. Till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, then I enter the room, yeah? Then I have to leave by 12 o'clock the next day. If I don't leave by 12 o'clock the next day, if I stay on till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it will be considered as second day that I have stayed for 2 days.
Yeah.
Understood? Yeah. Then I have to pay for 2 days.
Now, why could that happen? We left and we sat on that
Lobby. Correct. So suppose your flight back is at 6 p.m. But you have to leave the hotel at 12 o'clock. Because otherwise it will be considered as the third day, you know, it's one more day. So then you can just sit aram in the lobby. We can pack everything, come down and have lunch or whatever. Okay, so then okay. 10 days ago we had booked 8 rooms, yeah?
It is.
Receptionist is at what?
Just this I said.
You already finished, correct. Then Mr. Roy is saying something.
It is 11:45 now. How much time will it take, madam?
Just a while. Meanwhile, our vehicle will serve you and the children some refreshments.
Wow.
Oh, that will be great.
Refreshments means
Refreshments means what? Some fruit juice and some thumbs up or something. Nice drinks and something to eat while you wait. Good, na?
Yeah.
Waiting in the nice lobby and eating some nice things.
After 10 minutes.
your rooms are